camera.
For those who didn't hear the intro, welcome. It's another CNC Router Tips Mixer. And we do these every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Uh, just call it 7 p.m. Whenever time zone you're in, whatever time of year it is, daylight savings, I don't care. It's 7 p.m. Eastern time. Okay. So fantastic. Kurt was just telling us about his teardrop camper that he did with his CNC router, and he's almost got it ready to put on the road just in time for summer.
Exactly. And I was waiting for some white butyl sealant, 1/8 by 3/4 wide, and I haven't been able to find any for seemed like forever. Then all of a sudden, there it was on Amazon. So I got 4 rolls. It was only $16, and I got enough to make another teardrop camper.
That's fantastic. Hello, Milo. How are you again?
Hi, good.
Yeah, this is what happened when the host doesn't remember to hit the record button. So, lesson to all of you content creators out there: hit the button. uh, it's been quite a week. I'm kind of multitasking too today because I just got off a live stream with one of my coaches, and I am watching the SpaceX feed on my iPad over here for the launch that's going on in a half an hour. They're going to launch the Starship again. Hopefully, it'll make it past that second, when the hot staging happens and the two rockets split. In about 2 minutes after that, we'll know.
Yep. One thing about it, they can't hide it.
Nope. No, it's I understand if you're into the SpaceX souvenir type thing, it's a great thing to be in the Bahamas these last two flights because they were picking up tiles and parts. Yeah,
Parts everywhere.
Yeah, a little bit burned, but no big deal. Um,
Hey, Tally.
Hey, what's going on?
What's up, Daly?
How you been?
Good.
Being good. Let me just double check to make sure everything's going good and we got the right settings for the call. For the viewers at home, there we go. Sometimes it's interesting to try and manage all this while you're hosting it, but man, I can't beat it. I love talking about CNC and I love talking with you guys about it. So thank you for
Bill,
coming.
your background screen image is I like this one a little better.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. You could probably thank the Lucas crowd for this one. Uh, it's the one of the Emperor's throne rooms in Star Wars on the Death Star. CNC story related to this. So when my son was just a whippersnapper, probably 8 or 9 years old, he was nuts about Star Wars, everything Star Wars. Probably because he got a chance to fight Darth Vader at Disneyland or Disney World, excuse me, on the stage. So 1 in a million kind of thing. But we did his bedroom up, and one wall of the bedroom, I painted the landing bay of the Death Star. You know where all the Imperial stormtroopers come out, and there's the ship, Darth Vader's ship and everything. So I painted that on the wall, got a planet in the background, space going on and everything. Ceiling in his rooms got stars and stuff on it. And I started making that window out of some melamine. It's the pegboard stuff without, I think it's melamine, right? But without the laminated white stuff anyway.
Oh, masonite. Isn't it
Masonite, there we go.
Yeah.
So I cut it all out on the CNC router, put it together, got it painted, and the thing, my wife found me some fabric that had stars in the background. Got the room all done up, and never put the window up after all that. Uh, it was just, they moved in the beds and stuff and the dresser, and I was like, okay. So I was done. But it was going to be the ultimate room, I'll tell you. Yeah,
That's
yeah. So that's CNC.
nice.
That
Well,
that wall still looks good, I tell you. Let's see if I
I
can
guess
find a
I'm gonna
picture.
blame you guys for my latest tool that I bought.
Uh-oh. What is it?
Yeah,
Is it?
3D printer.
Okay.
Can we start by apologizing now?
Yeah. Well, I ordered it on a Friday,
Okay.
got it on the next Thursday, and printed the first CNC part with it successfully
Nice.
on the Friday or 1 day later. So this just ISO 30 tool holder clip
Mhm.
came out. I had to make just a couple adjustments. Hole was a little bit smaller than designed,
Mm-hmm.
and this gap here was a little bit tighter than designed, and just PLA plastic, but doggone, it works great.
That's good. Which one did you get?
The Bamboo Lab H2D.
Okay. Excellent.
Oh,
I got it
look
running
at
over
that.
here beside
Woo,
me.
look
That
at
son
you.
of a gun flat moves.
Yeah, go all the way out.
Mm.
Well, one guy, I sent him the same model, and he's got a little desktop version of a system, another manufacturer. And it was taking him almost 4.5 hours to print this thing.
Hmm.
On this one, it was an hour 20.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So just like CNCs, they are not all equal.
Yeah.
You ought to get some nylon now and the carbon fiber nylon mix, because that machine will handle that heat
Yeah.
wise, and you get a much stronger part.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Well, this darn thing, I was kind of surprised after we increased the infill because the default was pretty low. And
Mm-hmm.
I squeezed it and cracked it right up here at the top. But this darn thing, all the way to the center, it's holding up.
So you need to just sell those as hand exercisers.
That's about what it is.
Yeah. And we got Cody from Cody CNC Engraving saying, hey, Cody, come on and join us. Click the link. Come on board.
Come on down.
Yep.
Yeah.
The technology in these little 3D printers is way more than they advertised.
Oh,
Or at
yeah.
least I didn't read good enough, perhaps, but the shake compensation, the touch offs, the leveling, you know, I'm impressed with the engineering of this thing.
Look,
It's it's
a lot of that stuff has been available for a while. I don't know what Bamboo Labs did, but they really brought it together, and the product that they have is exceptionally good. But all that stuff you mentioned's been available to Creality and things like that. But what I found is Creality is still just a Chinese company, and their products have problems. And I can't speak for the other brands, but I've seen some of the stuff that Bamboo Labs does. There's a guy that I buy the filament from that he uses them. And if you really put it on the fine detail mode, you won't even know that it's 3D printed.
Mm-hmm. I think what a company like Bamboo Labs did was they took all of the features that were out there and available and combined them in a way that was disruptive. They added RFID to the spools like some of the high-end printers had done, in the commercial ones, so that you would know what material the machine would automatically know what material it was using, and it had default settings built in. That was,
Mhm.
that was not new, but it was new in this price point.
It was, yes.
The LiDAR, I think they added to that
Yep.
one. That there's the automatic bed leveling, the multiple colors.
Yeah.
They just kept stacking the deck, and it was like, okay, catch us now. to all the other brands, and everybody's scrambling. I mean, you look at the Anycubic. They tried to come up with one that does the same stuff, but does not have the attention to detail that the Bamboo Labs does. Although I can't speak for the latest one that's about to come out.
Yeah.
Yes, they
But
float. They
but
float
keep
like
in mind. Sorry, Tally.
Oh, go ahead.
I was about to say, keep in mind if you do want to achieve those really nice prints out of the Bamboo Labs, you do have to use their material 90, well over 90+% of the times. It does increase the price of doing things. But for most, yeah, my only argument, like I was actually buying a machine at the time when I think it was is it the X1 Carbon, is it the Bamboo Labs or the X1 or something it
X1.
is?
Yeah, the X1C.
Yeah, I was looking at getting that one there, but I couldn't justify the price at the time because most of the stuff that I print's just brackets, practical stuff. I don't care what it looks like as long as it holds the parts together correctly. But as I said, some of the stuff that I've seen printed, you wouldn't even know that it's been 3D printed.
Yeah, you can if you don't feel like you need the X1C, you can always get the P1S or you can just get the A1, the bed slinger.
Mm.
That's fine. They print pretty much the same way. But you don't have to use their filament. I don't use their filament. I think their filament to me is overpriced. I use Sunlu and I use Coreality. I use what is it? Illigo. Illigo.
Lego, yeah.
Yeah, I just all that filament works fine, but I just keep mine on the bamboo profile. It doesn't know the difference and it works.
Yeah.
I've but I have noticed that if you sometimes use like an off-brand filament, it's not spooled right. So when you try to put it in, it tangles.
Hmm.
And you have to stay away from those companies because even though the filament is good, it's not spun on the spool properly and it'll tangle.
And there are cheap knockoff filaments where they take shortcuts to save a little bit of money, which cause problems. But one of the biggest issues, if you really look at the Bamboo Lab setup, is that they dehydrate and dry their filaments really well, and they get you to manage your filaments in that way. That's how they achieve the quality. There's been a lot of study recently on filament, and if you have filament just at room temperature, particularly if you're in a humid area, the difference between dehumidifying and drying out your filament or not is huge.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I haven't had any issues. I place mine in the room. But I noticed that it can't sit for a long period of time if not using because it will break off in
Yeah.
the pet tube. I do keep desiccant in my box,
Mhm.
but on my A1 Mini, they open. So every now and then, what I do, I just break off the old one, pull it out of the tube, and just run the new tube in there or a new filament through it, and it works
Mhm.
fine.
Have you guys found that if you have filament that has gotten moisture, if you put it in one of the drying boxes, can you get it back to usable state or just throwing it out?
Oh, absolutely. I'm just about to post a link, and it'll cost you a huge amount of money.
You notice he didn't answer. He said absolutely, but he didn't say in which direction. Yeah.
I was
I'll
just,
show you. No, I'll show you now. This is what you do here.
Oh,
I've just
let me do the share link thing so you can
I
get
know
it.
I just saw a video that it takes a long time to dry filaments.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Over an hour.
the automated one on this AMS where that's got the heater in it,
Mm-hmm.
they're running it for anywhere between 8 and 12 hours.
See, yeah, that's.
Mhm.
do you guys get that link?
Oh, I see
Yep.
it.
We see it.
Okay, that's from Temu. You get those bags and you put your filament in it. They provide a little hand pump, but hang on a second. I'm over here next to my 3D printer. Unless I'm throwing it in the vacuum.
I see some of the. I know some do. It comes in a vacuum pack, a reusable vacuum pack.
Yeah, there's some filaments I have that are in
Yeah.
resealable packs as well.
But I
I,
like this.
I've bought this little battery powered vacuum pump. It's supposed to be for like those jars and stuff like that,
Hmm.
that you like to preserve food and so on. It was something like $10 or $15 with some lids and stuff like that. They go over those blue seals. You just sort of like, this is like a rubber material here, and you basically just press it onto that blue seal, hit the button, like a little sex vibrator. There you go. It's holding onto the lid there. And it basically vacuums the bag down, or you can use the hand pump there. As long as you introduce a little bit of a vacuum, throw in a couple of bags of desiccant, and if you store your filament that way, you'll find that it'll be dry and like it'll always be good. And it'll also reconstitute or recondition or dry your filament, what you were asking earlier, Bill.
Hmm. Oh, good. I'm glad. Um, T minus 7 minutes, in case anyone's wondering. Uh, everything is looking good so far. Uh,
Where are they launching?
they're in Texas.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got a link to the live feed?
Uh, YouTube, Any Day Astronaut. I can probably find you a link. I'm watching it on my iPad, so I don't have one on this computer. Or you can go directly for SpaceX's feed, but we may lose half our audience if I give that one out. Uh, but who knows? Uh,
Which one do you reckon on news is best? CNN News or
oh, I would go right to YouTube.
no,
Um,
no, on YouTube? Like there's Spaceflight Now or Skyships.
um, NASA space flights is good. So is What About It? So is Everyday Astronaut. Those that I mentioned, Ellie on Space, any of those will get you there.
Where have you been? But we're glad we.
So I'm gonna turn the volume off on that one. Come
Yeah,
back to the Zoom meeting.
I just turned on the SpaceX site and they got
Yeah,
a video rolling right now.
yeah. I was tempted to throw it up on the live stream.
We know where your priorities lie.
Well, I'm a space nut. What can I say?
Yeah.
Yeah. If I
Yeah,
could
I
figure out
found
how to
one that
get,
says, I found one that says SpaceX Starship Flight 9 and it's live. So
yep.
I guess
There you go. Uh,
Yeah, they were showing some images comparing the Atlas and the SpaceX.
yeah.
That's a big
Mhm.
dart.
That's a big difference. Yeah. This
Have you
this this is like launching the Chrysler building into space, basically.
have
Um,
you have you seen some of the technology improvements on the rocket engines that have been made?
I have.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
How
Um,
much they've simplified them, particularly with the metal 3D
yeah.
printing, etc.
So I'm sorry, they're at 450. They usually make a whole decision at 4 minutes. If if they're gonna go, we'll know at 4 minutes. You know. Anyway, just it's nobody. When I was a kid, they were launching the Apollo missions, and everybody in the world was glued to their TV watching this stuff. And you know, first time in 50 years, we're getting ready to go back to the moon, and nobody's paying attention. It just shows how quickly technology
Yeah,
becomes
we've just become so
commonplace.
desensitized to it.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway,
Yeah, I remember my
yeah.
granddad taking pictures of the television when they landed on the moon.
Hmm.
I asked my granddad, I said, "Hey, over your lifetime, what stands out as the most memorable?" And, because he was born 1895, 98, somewhere in there. And he says, well, I expected flight. He said, nope. It's when a buggy was coming down the road
Mm-hmm.
and there weren't any horses hooked to it. And there wasn't even a place to hook horses. And it was the first car that he saw. That's what the memory was. I said, now you went from flight to landing on the moon, and it was the first car. He said, yep.
Yeah, it's just truly amazing. The if you were to graph out the level of technology and the things that have come about since the turn of the last century, it's ridiculous. You know, just ridiculous. And then you look at what came about since the 60s, right after the Apollo program, and Star Trek was on TV, and you know, how many pieces of technology we have from that. The replicator, you just got one, Milo.
Yep.
You know, it might not be
Oh,
as cool.
there's so much technology around us and its application as well that we just take everything around us for granted.
Hmm.
Yeah, lasers, all the various lasers, fiber lasers, CNCs, computers. The fact that we can see what's happening on the other side of the world right now
Hmm.
as it's happening with only milliseconds difference in time.
Hmm.
These are all things that they didn't have back then. They used to have to wait months for a newsreel to get from somewhere in the in one of the conflict areas or somewhere from the other side of the world. And yeah, what we have now is amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
we take it
Ned,
for granted.
you're down in Australia and the sound is matching your lips.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've just watched a lot of Bruce Lee movies and I've learned to pre-move.
Yeah. Watch my technique.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I used to love those. T minus 1 minute 10. Ooh.
Who's counting?
They're gonna hold it for T minus 40 seconds. They just announced. So
Yeah, the one
but
I'm
yeah.
watching, they're down to 46.
Ooh, you're ahead. Yeah, the one I'm watching is following it's not directly SpaceX's feed, so there's a slight delay.
Yeah, it stopped at 40.
Well, actually, there's one piece of technology that there's a big break in technology or
Yeah.
big break in what we're doing at the moment that's actually right in Bill's corner of the world with model aircraft and that's with drones. And like you've seen what's happening in Ukraine and so on with the use of drones there. But one of the things that a big limitation on spacecraft and drones and airplanes, etc., has been the human. And now with AI and like reliable remote control and video feed, the new planes they're about to come out with that are pilotless, that they probably don't even realize it themselves yet. But if you look at what those little light planes that you're building, how they're flipping, stopping at the ground, shooting back up, if you try to do that with a person in it, the person would just end up being a milkshake. But now that you remove the person out of the equation, it's there's going to be a whole new range of movement or flight there.
Hmm. Yeah, things that a human pilot couldn't stand gravitationally, you know, 30 gravities or something crazy like that. Hypersonic flight, things like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
January 1986, I was at University of New Orleans working in the engineering department with the Star Wars, and I had a job with to start with Michoud, the Space Center at Michoud in New Orleans East. And then it was my dream to work in the space industry, and I was approaching that reality. Well, then January 1986, the shuttle went up and blew up, and that changed my life path.
Hmm.
So now I watch SpaceX, and I see the evolution of what has gone from then to now. Um, um, sometimes I think I was born 30 years too early.
Look, and you know what?
Things
If you were born 30 years later, you'd be going, "I was born 30 years too early." I don't know
Yeah,
where it's going to stop. I don't know where it's going to stop.
yeah, and it's gone so far right now. They're 3D printing rocket engines, and back in the day when we worked on them, you work on a I worked in a place in New Smyrna Beach, Florida, that worked with NASA, and we
Mhm.
build boxes and things for the satellites. And the building of the rocket engines back there were hand built, one piece at a time. And it took hours to build a piece of pipe. You would think
Mhm.
that it's just a piece of pipe, but no. If they said that pipe had to be 10 feet long with a radius of three arc seconds, it had to be exactly what they said it would they wanted. And I could never figure out why they wanted it so close. And then we had a guy come in, and we were building a little bitty box out of aluminum, and it was down into the millionths of an inch. You had to use a jig board to set these little hinge pins, and they had to be exact. Well, the
Mhm.
guy came in to do the inspection to see how good they were, and I asked him, I said, "Why has it got to be this tolerance? We're spending a lot of time making the tolerance close. Why?" He said, "Well, when you get into space, it's 300 degrees below zero. Everything changes. The metal changes, the expansion rates of the metal changes, so you never know what's going to happen. So when we say it's got to be exactly this, it has to be exactly that, because when it gets up into space, the thermodynamics will change the tolerances. So
Yeah, I had a little
now
bit
they're
of a
doing it.
conversation today with a guy on tolerances and expectations. I said, these affordable CNC machines, if you got a $50,000 machine, don't expect it to operate like a $500,000 machine.
Yeah.
Right,
And I
right.
said, and wood moves without doing anything to it.
Yeah,
I think you're understating how much wood moves and for what reasons.
Oh,
Hmm.
you set it on
well,
the
you're wearing
table and walk away from it, you come back, it's going to be different.
It is
right.
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Folks don't realize just how much it grows from the humidity and temperature and pressures, and that's really
Well, I
interesting
see
stuff.
Ned is entering winter down there. He's wearing his stocking cap.
I was about to
So,
say you guys are in t-shirts and stuff, and I'm now rugging up.
yeah.
Welcome. Who we got just joined us?
Hey, this is Cody. How you
Hey,
guys doing?
Cody. I'm glad you
Hey,
could
Cody.
make it. Great, great.
Yeah, man. I every time you invite me, I'm always like driving or doing something. But when you're like, "Hey, jump on," I was like, "Hey, I'm actually in the shop." So
See, this is
Fantastic.
where you've got it wrong. You got to schedule your life around here, not
truth,
around
I'm
living.
I'm telling you.
Yeah. So just for information for anybody that was like thinking they might see the launch or whatever,
Yeah,
they oh wait, they had a hold at 40 seconds, and then they held a second hold when they got down to 34 seconds after they cleared the first one. Something to do with the ground equipment. Um, but hey, you know,
A journalist is too close.
yeah, yeah. But who knows? Sometimes these things take time. They've got a launch window of a couple hours, and well, uh, I'd rather
I
have them
lived
get
in
it right.
I lived in Slidell, Louisiana, which is 13 miles from the Stennis Space Center. They would test them shuttle engines, and at 7 o'clock in the evening, all of a sudden you hear this. You could hear it 13 miles away, the rumbling
Oh,
of the engines,
hey,
and
it
you could
looks
feel
like
the shock wave. Oh, it's going.
Yep, there goes the water.
and there's ignition. And of course, the feed froze.
Yeah,
Oh,
see,
Giant. There goes the giant flying phallus.
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
SpaceX's site is keeping up.
I think it's because we're doing so many different things and it's a live feed over
Mhm.
a live feed.
Right.
Anyway, it got off the
Yeah,
ground.
yeah.
If
What the
it,
heck was? Do you remember, Bill, what the payload capability of that thing is?
um, sure.
Come on, Bill. Come on.
I figured you'd be able to just
I
right off the
Yeah.
top.
normally I could. I'm just trying. The number that came to mind was 1,000 tons, but I think it's actually 3,000.
Wow.
I'm
Um,
shattered. I'm shattered.
Millions of
I had
pounds.
more expectations for you, Bill. Sorry.
sorry, it wasn't. Yeah, wasn't on my list of things for today to keep remembering. Um,
Two decimal places I was expecting from you.
yeah. So as this rocket goes up, there's a point called max Q where it has a maximum um, geometric and dynamic pressure on this hull,
Yep, they got
and
past it.
they throttle back and they get through that, and then they bring up the engines to full throttle, and then they tilt up. I never knew that about rocket launches. That I always thought they were straight up, but they go more or less horizontally once they get up to.
Well, they've got to get the speed up to get out of orbit.
Yeah.
Well, if you remember, if you put an incline and run a car down the incline,
Mm-hmm.
or you make a flexible incline so the car can make the incline curve as it goes
Mm-hmm.
down the ramp, it creates a parabola shape.
Yeah.
And the parabola shape is faster than the straight incline.
Yeah. I've seen that kind of marble display. Um, if I had chosen the SpaceX feed, they're showing all of the engines and the telemetry and everything. They're 2 minutes and 10 into the flight, and they're at 4,000 feet or kilometers, excuse me, up. Excuse me, no, I got that backwards. It's on my iPad. They're at 54 kilometers and just under 5,000 uh, kilometers per hour. They just had the stages separated, and now we got to hold our breath for another minute or two to make sure that the upper stage stays in one piece. Please stay in one piece.
It looks like it's doing pretty good so far.
Well,
Not a whole bunch of pieces anyway.
it usually happens in another minute.
Oh, okay.
So hopefully they got this.
I went on a ride and
Ooh,
checked it
that
out,
looks
and
good.
that gave you a simulation of how it felt to be launched.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. I experienced 7.5 G's, and that can have a tendency to hurt.
Okay, what we're looking at right now is the booster coming
Separation.
back. Um, the ship is going good.
See,
It's still showing all 6 engines going on the booster. Let me see if I got a different screen I can grab with the other view.
Everyday astronauts
Hey there.
got
You'll
a
need some
split
basic-
screen happening.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, he's coming back. I love this. This is my favorite part.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
we'll
the
keep
first time
that
I
thread live.
first time I saw him land a smaller one
Mm-hmm.
on end, I thought, okay, you guys have lost your mind. They just keep on doing it.
I'm surprised. NASA spaceflight almost always has both feeds, and apparently maybe they didn't want to pay for it this time or whatever.
On Everyday Astronaut, they've got a split screen, which one of the screens is showing the return, like a large view, and then there's a split screen from the engines and also the return. So you're getting three views from it.
You can't imagine how fast it's going until it goes through a couple clouds. Then you go, wow.
That's the camera I need on my crane, so I can do a live stream.
Hopefully we can get this to go.
Oh, thanks, Darlin. I'd love a coffee.
Everyday astronaut. As you can see this little diagram here, this is the upper stage and it's still going. And the booster engines haven't relit yet. They're just starting to heat up. They have not turned back on yet. That's friction. That glow you see. Mm-mm. Doesn't look like the booster, which was being reused for the first time, made it back to ground. Oh, wait, no. Booster's still going.
Yeah, it's on its way.
Oh,
How come your Everyday Astronaut is like 20 seconds, almost 20 seconds delayed to mine?
I do not know.
I'm
Yeah,
on
Zoom
650. I'm
call.
on 7. I'm on
Is it-
7 now. You're on 646.
yeah.
Yeah, the one I'm looking at is 740.
Well, at least I know it made it to 740.
Yep.
I got
still counting.
720 on another one. Yeah. So
Its speed is up to 18,000.
Yep, just past 19.
yeah, I got 16.6 and 14.9. So
Yeah.
go figure.
Either that or they got some really good pictures because it's still going.
Hey, we are watching a video from I don't know how many miles up anymore, but it's way up there.
I'm going to put it out that he's about 147 kilometers up there, Bill.
Sure, which makes no sense to Americans who only deal with miles most of the time.
Well, two and a half or two and a
Yeah.
quarter or something, isn't it? Yeah.
I've been
But-
clicking on the calculator here to say, okay,
Yeah.
what's it in real terms?
Yeah, from the edge of
Sorry,
space,
Ned.
we're watching it live on a stream all across the world. We got Australia, New York, Massachusetts. Where are you from, Cody?
Arizona.
Arizona, Florida,
Colorado.
Colorado,
Michigan.
And it's in 1080p.
Yeah,
So I got
Michigan.
my mic muted. Is it loud? Can you hear like air blowing and stuff?
no,
Not
not at all. You got
Not
good
a
noise
thing.
cancellation.
Good.
Uh-oh, I see a glow on the right vacuum engine. That's not usually good. Oh. Okay. The engine's cut off. So the
Must be
there we go.
must be spinning a little bit too. I see the sun
Yeah.
shadows are changing on what I'm looking at.
You see that red spot right there? That's got very heated. And there was one here on the bell of the EG rocket there, the one that says EG on it. Anyway, they held together. Let's hope they're able to relight them.
Is this an equipment launch or it actually have astronauts on it?
Never. Well, never is a long time. No, not during the test phase.
Okay.
During the test phase, they make sure the rocket can be rocket before they put a human being in there. We're
Okay.
probably 2 or 3 years away from, realistically, from a human being being in one of these, even though they're saying next year.
Yeah, the video feed I'm looking at is about almost a minute ahead. It's
Okay.
11 minutes now.
Hmm. Well, anyway, we don't have to continue watching this.
I'm,
It's
yeah, I'll
just
watch it.
fascinating technology.
As
Yes, we do.
as we were talking about technology and so on, in the last couple of days, I've watched a few movies. One of them was there's a pile of 35mm footage that's come out from Germany from their V rocket tests and development and so on. Been watching a few documentaries on that. The second one that I've been watching is just trying to remember the name. It's the one where it's the one where they Clint Eastwood goes up into space with the old crew, the Daedalus crew.
Yeah, they try to blow up an asteroid or something like that.
No. Though it was the Russian satellite with the missiles on it and
Oh,
the American
yeah.
Skylab guided system. And you just look at the technology, and that was from the 40s, 50s sort of thing, or 50s, whatever. Yeah, it was quite fascinating what they could do even then.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I just pulled another piece out of the replicator.
Listen, you can only call it the replicator once you've actually got an antimatter engine behind you
Mm-hmm.
powering it, and that part comes out every 1 or 2 seconds,
Mm-hmm.
and a cup of coffee with it as well. Tea, hot, black.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm waiting for that. This is kind of interesting. There's a whole bunch of things that they're going to try and do on this flight. They're going to relight the engines. They're going to try and eject 6 test satellites.
What was
Then
that? They're throwing more rubbish out into space for them to avoid later.
Yep. Well, this is at the edge of space, but it's not going to complete a full orbit. So anything that they throw out now will come back down somewhere. Anyway, just yeah. I'm sorry. Now I'm really geeking out on rocket stuff, but I can't help it. I'm a rocket geek, and I was wondering whether I was going to get to see this going live while we had our thing, and I'm also now wondering what YouTube will do when they see this multiple streams of somebody else's content during our live stream. I'm really not sure.
Are you trying to say that YouTube is watching us?
Well, YouTube may prevent other people from watching this. I'm not certain. But thank you, Tim Dodd and the Everyday Astronaut crew, for giving us a view that is actually showing the stuff we needed to see. So yeah, NASA spaceflight. I was really kind of surprised. I've watched their stuff before. It really doesn't matter who you watch unless you like the commentator. And Tim Dodd was scheduled to go into space with the current head of NASA, Isaacman is his name. And then they canceled the flight. So So we're quite a ways away from when they deploy the satellite. I'm going to stop the feed, maybe? What do you think?
Yeah.
All right.
You can leave it up. I mean, you can glance at it. Still
You guys
talk.
like it that much? Okay, cool. Ooh.
Guys, if you're running Google Chrome and you go into the Chrome store, there's a picture-in-picture thing for Google that you can get, and when you fire up a video in YouTube, you hit Alt or Control P, and it just makes it. You can resize the picture. It just makes it on top floating window that you can
Yeah.
that you have there. Yeah.
So this is a picture from inside of the rocket in the cargo bay. And those rectangles you see down there are the fake satellites. So all that stuff you saw floating around in that space are ice chunks.
Oh, okay.
Because all of the liquid is super cooled and there's a lot of ice that breaks free and floats around.
Well, it's not just that. It's when the fuel burns, it actually burns back to water as well when hydrogen burns, if they're using hydrogen.
No, this is using methane.
Degrees. Oh,
I think methane will burn to water as well.
Yeah. This is a Methalox rocket. It uses methane and oxygen and liquid oxygen to do its thing. And it's a full cycle engine. In other words, it's got 2 turbo pumps in it that uses the fuel very efficiently. It's quite something. So
Yeah, when methane burns in the presence of oxygen, the main byproducts are carbon dioxide and water.
very good. Last time, 3 launches ago, they tried to deploy satellites. Well, excuse me, they didn't try to deploy satellites. They tried to open the satellite door, and they had trouble with the payload door opening. So far, I would consider what they did to fix their issues a success. Up to this point. What? They had trouble with the door.
Oh, they did?
Yeah. It stuck halfway. They're closing it. And they're maybe going to try again, but yeah. So it looks like it's going to be redesign number 3 for the door. I just hope that the door closes fully so that they don't have to worry about it in re-entry. Uh-oh. I got at 18 fit. Oh, okay. He came back. My iPad is ahead of my the screen that we're watching. Well, it does come back.
Did Milo step out for a second?
Yeah,
I think he did.
just around the backside of the camera.
So
How do you like Bamboo Studio?
I think it's pretty good.
They did a lot of upgrades. What are you designing in and then importing as?
I designed this ISO 30 in SolidWorks.
Okay. All right.
I got a heck of a price on it for veteran discount.
Mm-hmm.
Good grief, it's $20 a year.
Oh, yeah, you can't beat that.
And
Mhm.
I got to do that just to see what it's like.
Mm-hmm.
I think student was what, 58 or something a year.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They was giving 50% off last week. I don't know what was 50% of the price, but it was
Yeah,
50%. Uh
50% of what?
right. It was 50% off, SolidWorks Premium, but I don't know how much premium costs. So which I was like, why are y'all advertising 50% off when you're not listing the price? To my contact your reseller or whatever. But
Because the
anyway,
resellers don't have to stick to that exact price.
yeah, right. Um so when you say when you're working in the SolidWorks, what are you exporting the file as?
3MF.
Hmm. Yeah.
And I cranked up the resolution up real high.
Yeah.
And on one, I thought I had pushed it up and I didn't make it.
Hmm.
Oh, okay.
And you can see
Here, I'm
the
going to switch the
facets
view.
on this one. And on this one, it's absolutely smooth.
Yes. Okay.
You know, other than that, I mean, everything else is okay. It was just something I go, I wonder why it did that.
All right.
Mhm.
Didn't affect the functionality of it. It also didn't affect the print time.
Yeah. Now, Milo, I told you a few months ago about the Experimental Aircraft Association and being able to buy SolidWorks at a really low price.
Oh, yeah.
The cost of membership, which I
Yeah.
believe is $75.
Oh, okay.
So uh, that, that's one way to go.
Yeah. No
Mhm.
kidding.
Yeah.
Well,
Uh,
and I think I mentioned here at one point, I forget who the heck what I'm saying where, uh, for a gear maker, it's
mhm,
called Gearotic.
Oh, I've heard of
mhm,
that.
Yeah, it works pretty good. And I thought, okay, they got a bearing in there. It was a roller bearing assembly. I exported it out of there, imported it into Bamboo Labs, adjusted some of the slicing density because on the spheres, once it got up to the top, it got real coarse. Well, I was trying to do a little tutorial on it. Well, you can adjust that layering.
Oh,
It,
adaptive.
yeah, the adaptive, and
Hmm.
so I'm gonna play around and try to print that here in a little bit and see how it works.
Yeah,
But yeah,
you'll be
it's
running through a few rows of filament.
oh yeah. Shoot, I can't even tell I reduced the spool yet.
Yeah.
It doesn't take that much.
No, but when you started printing, you just start printing all kind of stuff. Like,
Well, and that support filament,
hmm
it's an interface layer, and
hmm
with two heads, it doesn't take much to change, but it was like a layer of Teflon
Okay.
because it was printing this way.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, up here on this 90-degree overhang,
mhm.
here it was pretty rough underneath.
Right.
But with that interface layer there, it came out as good looking as the top did.
Right. Yeah, you could print it either tree support, or in that case, I would probably do a raft. Do a raft. A raft will allow, like, let's say if you have something and it's kind of it has a chamfer or bevel on the bottom side, they don't sit flat. So the raft will print around that to make it completely flat.
Okay.
In that case, I would do a raft on that since you have that overhang so long, because doing a tree, you would have to actually have to paint. You have to paint all the way around that ridge. to fill it. But a raft will actually, it'll just fill that in with the height. And you could tell it to, I think you could tell it to just adhere to the bed and not the print itself.
Yeah, I put some small print on here just for the
Oh
fun
yeah.
of it, but it didn't turn out real sharp. But the good thing is it looks like the simulation
Mm-hmm.
in Bamboo, because in Bamboo it didn't look real good on
Right.
the slicing simulation. On the design it looks perfect,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
but on the slicing simulation it looked kind of crappy.
Yeah.
But I wanted to see if what the representation was is what it actually turns out like, and it pretty well duplicated the crappy look,
Mm-hmm.
which is good.
Yeah.
And oh, I keep on Vectric software, it's always what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
If it looks like crap, it's gonna cut like crap.
Right.
And this looks to be pretty doggone close to what you see is what you get. And one thing I did not realize, a friend of mine invited me over to his place to look at his 3D printer. He had a Prusa XL, and I looked at the slicer that he was using. I go, that looks exactly like Bamboo.
Hmm.
Well, it says Bamboo copied Prusa, or they are using the same software.
Yeah.
I'm sure they, I'm sure they altered it a little bit here and there, but
Have a look at Orca. Orca's actually supposed to give you even more features. They've taken everything from the Bamboo software.
what was the
And
name again, Ned?
Orca
Orca.
slicer.
That's the
ORCA.
latest go-to slicer that everyone's using. It's plagiarized everyone's features and combined it into one.
Okay.
I think Orca is really that's like the mother software. Everybody
Mhm.
else copying Orca because it's open source.
Could you
I
spell that?
actually heard that Orca was the one that copied everyone else. The
Nah,
whale Orca, ORCA.
Because Orca, if you follow Orca, they come out with updates way before everybody else. So they're more open source. Bamboo is the only one that's close to them with their updates. They might be like a half a update behind.
Mhm.
And if you like changing settings, Orca is the program for you.
Yeah, Orca is
Yeah.
because I used Orca when I first started learning 3D printing, when I had my Creality. And then when I found out that Bamboo uses the Orca interface, I was like, okay, so I don't have to change. So now everybody is pretty much going with the Orca. Bamboo has now kind of separated themselves from them because they don't want to do like third party software. So they want to make it where you have to use a bridge software for their printers. But even FL Sun use Orca interface. Pretty much
Mhm.
Orca, and then they just pretty much set it up how they want. But it's good. I mean, it's really good.
Mhm.
But if you're using Bamboo, Milo, I wouldn't even fool with it because Bamboo is it catches up. So now all their updates and stuff like that is superb. Like Orca might come out with something this month, and next month probably gonna update it. I wouldn't even change it.
Right.
I tried to share earlier, but you guys were talking about Orca.
Oh,
Uh,
go ahead.
the
I see you had SolidWorks something up there.
Yeah.
this is the Experimental Aircraft Organization, and their members can buy SolidWorks for $48.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Oh, excuse me, $24.
For
Okay.
makers.
So that's purchase SolidWorks from makers. So that's
It's probably got some features disabled. Who knows? But
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's the makers SolidWorks.
But if you want to just get your feet wet in SolidWorks, off you
Yeah.
go.
I think the only difference between that, I can't share my file. Like we can't do collaboration. I
Oh,
think
okay.
that's the only difference. Um,
Yep.
like you couldn't do markups. Oh, what is that right? Markups? Yeah.
I don't know. So,
And I mean, a lot of the stuff I'm
yeah.
doing so far is pretty low level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's eaa.org if
Yeah.
anybody is interested in that. Moving on. But yeah. Um, it is, there's so many ways to get into SolidWorks. That I'm sure that there might be a better deal somewhere, but I don't know of it. That's the best one I know. Uh,
Yeah. Also
looks like
through
they're about to
CNC.
relight for reentry.
Hey, they're doing better than they've done so far.
Mhm.
Yeah, over 31 minutes.
Oh, no, not good. They lost attitude control.
What?
It's spinning.
Uh,
Yeah, unfortunate.
Hey, they're getting closer.
what? Oh, it's spinning like going into a spiral type.
Yeah, it's supposed to keep the tiled side down, and it's not doing that. So yeah,
The
the thing is, they've had a failure similar to this once before, but they solved that, and then they redesigned the rocket to this Block 2 rocket, which they've got now, and they've had nothing but troubles with Block 2 rocket. Their old design, in my opinion, was probably better, but not from a standpoint of making 1,000 of them a year or something.
Well,
Are they dropping?
their speed is still
Are they dropping altitude?
steady.
They're not dropping altitude though.
No, speed is holding steady. The altitude is holding steady.
Well, they have to turn on the engines in order to get it back down, and they haven't done that yet. And I'm not sure when or how they're going to do that because it's out of control right now.
They need to go opposite rudder. Op-
There you go.
Yeah, yeah, but that only works when you've got air. So yeah.
Yeah, throttle down and opposite rudder.
Hmm. I honestly think that they're going to have to put thrusters on there. They use liquid nitrogen. Oh, well, Tim Dodd's saying it anyway, but I don't think I turned on the sound. But they use cold jets, basically. They're shooting out liquid nitrogen out to orient the ship, retro rockets kind of thing. Instead of having, actually, I think they're called ullage. But anyway, retro rockets are when you actually have a fire coming out of the end instead of gas. And apparently I don't know. So, yeah.
So I was looking at Cody machine back there. He has the
Yeah.
Ancom.
Well, I think that's a grinding machine, actually, not
It
a,
actually makes the bits.
yeah,
Yeah.
from Carbide there.
So when I went to the show, I was looking at a couple of them, and Anka was one of the ones that I was looking at, and it had like a lot of good features on it.
Yeah.
Where it had the laser, so you could place a bit in there, and the laser would tell you like the flukes, the size, everything. Do you have that feature on yours, Cody?
I do. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, no, it doesn't tell me like the flute depth and stuff like that on the laser. The laser I have, it measures the ODs and then does auto compensation to maintain tolerance,
Okay.
like during production.
Right.
But it's super accurate. It's accurate to like within millionths of an inch.
Yeah. I mean, it was the guy did a demonstration at the IWF show.
Yeah.
Was it the IWF show? Yeah.
It was in
Uh
Atlanta, right?
Atlanta,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, and I inquired about it, and he gave me like um the rundown on how it does. It has like the like almost like the conversational cam in it as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's real nice. Do you
Mhm.
design your own bits, or can you do the conversational cam actually in the controller?
No, I design all my own
Okay,
tools.
okay,
So I design them specifically for guys like us who have
right,
hobby grade CNC machines.
okay,
So I try to build as much rigidity in the tool to make our lives better, faster, stronger,
okay.
all that kind of stuff. But
That's,
that feature you're talking about though, like there's like an end mill wizard.
mm-hmm,
And so when you're starting a tool, I can say, okay, I want to make a square end mill 3 flute that's, 2.5 inches long with an 1.5 inch flute length. So I can put in those common parameters,
right,
uh, and it'll start the tool for you, and then I go and adjust from there and make all my tweaks.
okay,
Mhm.
yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I
I'm
think I
still
remember.
learning,
Yeah, I think I
so
remember you had about a year now, right?
been over 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what made you decide to go into the router bit business?
Well, I was having all these tools made for me here locally,
Hmm.
and once I started sharing, like the original Jenny bit with people,
Hmm.
and they're like, "That's awesome! I want to try it." Once I started hosting group buys and it started becoming a thing, they couldn't keep up with like sales, or not
Yeah.
sales, but production. And so it just got to the point where I was like, okay, I need 200 bits. And they're like, okay, we'll get it to you in like 9 weeks. I was like,
Yeah.
man, I can't do that.
Mm,
So
So
how
I
long did
went,
it take you to do 200 bits?
it depends on the tool. Um, but like right now, I'm running 3/8 diameter compression routers. So I'm making these guys. I don't know if you can see it,
mm-hmm.
Hmm.
but that pallet I think holds the 3/8, like I think it's like 98 tools it can hold. The 1/4 inch pallet holds 192 tools. So
And how long
so
would
I
it
can
take to process those?
uh so like this tool right now is about 15 minutes a piece. So if you just figure, if it's a 200, hang on, get my calculator out. So the way I run it is I try to run it to where the runtime I gain as much like nighttime hours as possible. So I'll load up the machine, let the robot run overnight, and I'll just put as many tools that I can get in there. So that way when I come in, it's done running. I can just pull the tools, inspect them, and then either make a new tool or just keep going. But there's been times where I've had that machine running for like 33 hours straight nonstop.
Yeah. Well, if it takes 15 minutes and there's no downtime between anything, it looks like you're about 50 hours to do 200.
Yeah.
Sound about right?
Now,
At
the
two,
next big
It's
question, is there money?
probably longer than that. Yeah.
The
say,
next
say that
question,
again.
is there money in it?
Well, it's been paying my bills for the last 3 years, so I think once I pay off the equipment, that's when it's going to be a game changer. Because
Yeah.
that
It was
sucker
for
is so
me.
expensive. Like,
Yours is a lot more expensive than my little Tormach, though.
yeah, but that Tormach you got is nice though. Those are awesome.
Yeah.
But no, I got about 2 more years left, 3 more years, and that machine's paid off.
That's
So
excellent.
if I so
That's
if I
a
can just keep maintaining and doing what I've been doing for the last, you know, 3 years, I think we'll be okay.
that's an
Do you think
excellent return of investment.
do you
Yeah.
think there'll be a
Well,
growing demand or?
oh yeah, already. I'm already looking at upgrading to a bigger machine.
Why not a
So
second machine instead?
uh
Space?
it's space and electricity. I've maxed out my panel. So like I have a number two surface grinder coming in, and that's what I use to dress all my wheels. And so between like my laser, my Onefinity, this machine, the cooling system, all the inspection equipment, I'm like maxed on power. So if I get another machine altogether, I would have to move, um, find a whole nother shop. Like it'd be a pain.
Is that single
What,
phase or three
It's
phase?
three phase.
That's three phase? Okay.
Yeah.
what voltage and what amps do you need for it?
It's 480 volt. I don't remember what the amps are.
80, 120?
I don't remember.
Uh,
120 sounds right, but
No,
Hmm.
normally a standard input line in Australia or an incoming line or incoming service line is around about the 100 or 120 amps is for the standard one. If I don't know what it'd be for you guys in
yeah,
America, but yeah, just more so like you got me intrigued.
I've got a 200 amp panel.
We 200.
Um,
Well, I know I am.
Mhm.
so I have a 200 amp panel. But I'm maxed at 200. I can't
Yeah.
get any more. From what they
Are you
tell
running
me,
it
I
off?
don't. Go
You're
ahead.
running it off a transformer too, right? In
Yeah,
the
I have
corner, that corner
two
there. Yeah.
transformers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a transformer for the filtration system and then one for the machine.
What's the standard three-phase voltage in the US? Is that's a step up transformer to take? Because we're 415 and you normally have to step up for some of the Chinese equipment. So what is your standard three-phase there? And then you're obviously stepping it up by the sounds of it.
I think what is it, like 208, and the 208 is common, and what's the other one? Four. I can't remember the other one. Four something.
480.
Yeah, 480.
Man, I don't know enough about electricity. Like that's one thing I know enough to be dangerous, and that's about it.
Yeah.
That's a good way to be.
Yeah. Excuse me, guys. My wife's calling me.
Oh, no problem.
It's
Mm.
about 5:20. She's probably telling me to come home. So
They managed to relight the rockets, but
hey, Greg.
things aren't looking good.
Oh, hey.
Have they managed to keep it in orbit this long before?
Yes, but not this level, not this new brand of rocket.
Okay.
Um, the Block 1 rockets they kept in the air this long and had re-entry the whole 9 yards.
They waterland that booster, or did they catch it? Or
The booster said sayonara.
oh, okay.
Yeah. It was this first time they tried to refly a booster.
That part didn't work out.
It worked great until it didn't. Uh, yeah. Um, so they think it's going to break up on reentry because it's spinning and it'll get hot in places it's not supposed to. And then you don't want to get your fuel hot, and that'll be that.
Kind of what does a belly flop style?
It's supposed to, yeah. If things had gone well, it would have re-entered like so, and then once it got into the atmosphere, it would just do that belly flop kind of glide down thing, steering as it came down, and at the last minute, it would light the rockets and flip up and land vertically.
Mm.
And we know all that works because they did that a couple, 3 times. It's just unfortunate. But this is why it's a test program.
Oh yeah. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it.
Yeah. Oh my good. Oh yeah. Okay. Uh, this is it going through the plasma of space. Oh, they cut it. I wasn't quick enough. Oh wait, maybe in a second.
Um,
When I'm watching, they're slowing down.
In another 10 seconds, it'll pop back up, and you'll see some more.
Cody, I'm gonna shoot you a message. I follow you on Facebook on a lot of the groups. Um,
Okay.
Done well.
um, how have you been coming along with your downshift V bits?
Those are freaking awesome.
Yeah.
They're one of the most popular bits I sell.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm
Yeah.
This is the view I saw a minute ago. Yeah, I'm
Well-
going to stop this now because it's breaking up. It's breaking up. It's like Steve Austin.
Well, gentlemen, thanks for
Yeah.
letting me come and kind of hang out with you for a little bit. Sorry I didn't have much chance to visit with you guys, but I gotta get going. I turned 40 today, and the kids are asking me when I'm gonna
Hey!
be home. I think they have a birthday party, surprise,
Yeah,
something, cake.
absolutely.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Happy birthday. Yeah.
So, all right, well, guys, keep up the good work. I'll try and catch you next week.
Okay. Excellent.
See
Fantastic.
you next time and come
Thanks.
again.
Yeah, there won't
All
be
right.
a rocket launch next time.
Normally we talk about CNC stuff,
CNC,
but
yeah.
the guy who's actually running the show has actually gone off topic.
Major league
Well-
off topic, but yeah.
Well, it's a SpaceX launch, so
Yeah.
I think we'll forgive you this time.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, I hope you guys have a great night.
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see ya.
All
Later.
right, bye.
Did you guys see where they released Vetric 12.5?
I just downloaded it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I haven't tried anything on it yet. I don't.
Kelly was asking me about it the other day. I says, yeah, they don't give us advance warning, the actual date.
Why?
On
I first sleep on air.
Kyle Ely put out a video. It's about a 45-minute video of the
Mhm.
highlights.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'd like to check it out. I want to see exactly I want to see what it actually does. Matter of fact, I just ran a little project on my ShopBot yesterday. And I just wrote ShopBot about it. It was doing something weird. Well, this is like the first time I ever 3D carved on it. But as it was doing like the tool paths, maybe I would say maybe every 800 to 1,000 lines, it just stopped, paused, like it was thinking. So it just stopped, and then all of a sudden it just started going back, and I'm like, what the heck? And I've never seen it done that before, and I was wondering if it was the controller was buffering the memory. I don't know what it was, but it was just weird to me for it to
Have
do.
you run a program that was running that length of time before or that many lines?
Nope. I've always done mostly like 2D work or some type of V carving anything. That was actually my first 3D carving on there.
So did it successfully finish?
Yeah, it did successfully finish.
But it
It was
hesitates after
so many.
10,000 lines or 100,000 lines or
Right, right. Like it would just process and it'll go, and then all of a sudden it just pause and then it's pick back up. And I was like, what the heck? So I don't know.
but it actually continued on at some
It
point then.
continue on. Yep.
Well, it sure sounds like a buffering type of thing.
That's what I was wondering. And it's USB too.
Oh, yeah.
The desktop is USB. Yeah.
I think we kept Kurt out too late.
Yeah.
He's been out for a while there.
Yeah.
He's gonna be on YouTube. I get a couple
I
thousand.
think I think I bored him with the SpaceX launch. Yeah, things didn't go well. They lost telemetry. It's sayonara.
Uh,
But at least it got up there.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's progress.
Well,
Hey, it survived for what, 45 minutes?
Yep. Yep. It would have, honestly, I believe it would have completed its mission if whatever went wrong with the steering hadn't gone wrong.
mhm.
So have they completely lost it, or?
Oh yeah. Yeah. It was spinning and it needed to be like, well, actually, to be more accurate, from the perspective of it would have to be like that. Dark side down, towards the moon. But anyway, towards the earth. Yeah, it just
So
sucks.
not
I was hoping
now
it would go.
it's space junk now.
Yeah, well, at the moment, it's
It becomes
probably
land
sky
junk
junk.
pretty quick.
It's ocean junk soon.
Okay.
Yeah, and then beach junk after that, and then expensive souvenirs after that. Yeah. Mm.
Ah.
I don't know. They were up long enough that it probably all this junk is in the Indian Ocean.
You're
Oh.
gonna say it didn't quite make it to Ned's place?
That's okay.
It's
We've
not
had
far
enough
from there.
crap from Skylab. Jeez.
Hmm. Yeah, but yeah, space is hard. That's the base. That's the base truth of it all. It's hard to do.
Otherwise Ford and Chevy would be doing
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder which car company made the lunar rover.
it.
It probably had to be one of the major automakers. They wouldn't let that go by. You can do anything you want, but if you touch an automobile, our union guys will shut NASA down. Think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we was down in Kissimmee over the weekend, and Lockheed and Martin, they were on strike or protesting.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Anyway. Oh, so Kurt, even though Kurt's out right now, he's not going to hear me talk about this, but he sent me that 3D printer that he had in the box last week.
Oh, okay.
So I've got it sitting in the shop here.
Have you printed anything?
I have not. My sister. So here's the plans. My sister is kind of like what's the word? Philanthropy. She's into philanthropy or whatever.
Mhm.
She bought a community center from the city that they were gonna do stuff with or whatever, and they fixed it up and everything, and they started offering courses that are useful to the community, like CPR, Morse code, disaster preparedness, and things like that.
Mhm.
And then she then began to branch out and to do other things that, kids would learn, like they had a drone class, just technology things, STEM stuff. And they don't have a 3D printer. And I thought, hey, this is
Mhm.
this is a great opportunity to get this set up for them, and that's one more thing that they can offer. Um, maybe get some more CNC folks out of the whole process, because this, you know, 3D printer is the gateway drug uh, of manufacturing. It really is. Hey, I can make that? Really? Yeah.
It's addictive. It's
Yeah.
addictive. I make,
Hmm.
I just make,
Yeah.
I just make stuff.
I think we all do.
Just be making stuff. Yeah,
Spinning tops.
yeah.
Yeah.
Make little whistles.
Hmm. Yeah. I made a trumpet mouthpiece that plays. It's over there somewhere. You know.
And
Um, but yeah.
especially when you learning how to design and be able to test your stuff, that's when it's like really amazing.
Yeah.
You go
Yeah.
in and you could tweak it,
Hmm.
and being able to just bring it straight in from the software is great.
Well,
But
shooting it, didn't you make your little impeller
Mhm.
Yeah,
booster underneath your?
yep, yep. Did that with a 3D printer. Here, this is most of the sort of stuff that I do.
Yeah,
That's a
switching
tank.
view.
That's a little tank level sensor there. Basically, that's the back of the enclosure. There's a
Mhm.
acrylic part that goes on the front, and there's a display that's on the other. Actually, no, that's the front there. So there's a display just there which tells you. I programmed the Arduino, and it tells you how many liters in a pill-shaped tank. And wait till you try and calculate the capacity of a pill-shaped tank for a diesel tank or something like that. Upright cylinders are easy, but a cylinder laying on its side, particularly with the rounded ends, there's a challenge for you, Milo, if you like doing calculations. But I managed to do it. And if you get the level of the tank in distance, I've got it displaying the capacity of the tank. Yeah. But yeah, just based on printing closures and little bits and pieces like that. I don't do anything artistic with it.
Hmm. I figured I'd spare Kurt.
Uh,
Uh, the printers are really handy, and
Yeah.
I hope that the kids like it. I'm gonna take it out and experiment with it first to make sure
How
it
is it?
works. It is a Voxelab.
Hmm. I never heard of that one.
It's a resin printer.
Oh, it's a resin printer. Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. What does it say?
Oh, that takes resin printer take a little bit of work.
It's called the Proxima.
Okay.
Proxima. Let's see. Resin printer, 3D printer. Uh, nothing else on there that.
So you need a what do you call it? Doggone it. Like a washing, you need like a water box or something like that to.
Yeah, it has it.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Yeah.
I would assume.
Um, and then I think what UV light. You
Hmm.
need UV light also. What you?
Um, you got me, Kelly. I don't know. Kurt,
Yeah.
Kurt just sent it. I got to open up the box to find out.
Okay.
Um, so I found a video of it here on Amazon.
They high resolution. They're pretty high resolution though. The resin printers.
Hmm.
Normally, a lot of people use those for doing figurines or cos
Yeah, I've
type.
seen cosplay stuff, and
Mhm.
yeah. Um,
My son-in-law he has one. Yeah, a Elegoo.
Yeah. So I'll share this video real quick on it.
And it has to be a ventilated area.
Yes.
Or all the
So
kids in there be acting weird.
loopy, yeah. I've also got a second Ender 3 that I can put over there if that's a better fit. But this 4K resolution, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that the resin printers are
Oh,
really good at printing is lenses. If you need to replace a lens on anything like a tail light lens or anything like that, I haven't got one here, but I've been making little flames that I put on top of a torch for our return services memorial
Mm-hmm.
things, etc. It does a brilliant job on stuff like that.
I wonder, is that the same company that made filament? Voxel. Hmm.
Anyway, that's them. It's now I gotta figure out how to turn this off again. There we go. It stopped sharing, correct?
Yes.
Okay. The video started replaying, and unlike you, I had the volume, so I'm listening to like some weird electronic music.
No.
Yeah. Currently not available. Don't know when it's in stock. I'm guessing this is probably a $200 or $300 setup, or maybe more. Who knows? But yeah, thank you, Kurt.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, he can hear this when he wakes.
Yes, I can.
Ah,
Okay. Yeah, pretty cool.
Back, Kurt.
I turned off your video.
Was I sleeping?
oh
Uh-huh.
yeah. I think he went out of space. Yeah.
You were waiting to re-enter.
No.
Yeah, it didn't go well.
Mm.
Yeah, so yeah, disappointing, but you know what? It's just another chance for me to make it back down there again and catch a launch in person. They keep this up. So, uh, that had to be disappointing when they couldn't open the doors.
Uh, yeah, that probably would suck.
Yeah. Uh, anyway. Um, Speaking of cool CNC stuff, I got a wiring diagram for a stepper motor setup for this fourth axis that I was talking about a couple weeks ago. Those plans for the fourth axis to fit on my milling machine, and it will also, with minor modifications, fit on my router table.
Mm.
So I'm kind of happy about that, but I think what I'm going to end up doing is buying two stepper drivers, okay, and make it unplug from one machine and plug into the other. So
Mm.
each controller box will have a new fourth axis drive in it. And then when I'm using the machine, I just make the connection before I power on and, enable it with the fourth axis on. So I'm going to be sharing a fourth axis between two machines.
Nice.
Yeah. So, um, while on that, while on that journey, of trying to find out more about this fourth axis, I also found out more about the harmonic drive that's inside of it. Okay, and I found out that there are two versions. Well, there's more than two, but there's two families of harmonic drives that you can get. You can get the standard one, which is what he designed around, and you can get the high torque one. All the mounting holes match, the dimensions match, everything. It's just a matter of which one you can find on eBay, cheapest at the time. So that made me very happy. The only difference between the high torque and the low torque one is better bearings and a different there's a, how do you describe it? So inside of a one of these harmonic drives, there is a round cup with teeth in it that is very flexible and deforms out of shape. And there's a driving thing that pushes it out of shape as it goes around the inside of this cup thing. And that's how it keeps its resolution without backlash, because only a certain set of teeth is ever engaged at a time as this thing goes around. So
Like
anyway,
the engine,
huh?
like the Winkle engine.
Sure, on a micro scale. Yeah, it's like if you had a timing belt,
Mm-hmm.
tooth timing belt, and you had another timing belt, but it was flipped so that it would engage. Well, let's just say you had teeth on the inside of the circle, and this
Right.
timing belt would engage them, but there was an eccentric thing inside of there that's running around, and it's only pushing a certain portion of this belt against the
Oh,
ring
all right.
so that it moves and can lock and hold in positions and everything. It's what they're using in robotic joints.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I
That's where
know.
these come from. So um, anyway, how did I get on this? You asked a really
Like,
good question. That's how I got on this. Anyway,
yeah, how to
so
harmonic.
anyway, yeah. So anyway, whichever one is the better deal on eBay when I go to look to buy is what I'll buy. I was able to pick up the enough aluminum to make 4 of these. We'll see.
Nice.
Yeah. Um, and the big chunk of aluminum is like 20 pounds worth of aluminum in each chunk.
Oh, you didn't need that truckload I showed you?
I, this guy had a pallet. He's got a pallet of maybe 60 of these or so. If somebody's really looking for aluminum, and the price was good, but um, if I bought a pallet of these blocks of aluminum, I would have to have a place to store said pallet of these blocks of aluminum, and I don't. So
Mhm.
just bought a few more than I needed. But
That's a very poor attitude. If someone was offering me blocks of aluminium, I'd throw the wife out and just somewhere to put them.
well, I can I can see you've never lived with my wife.
It's called priorities, Bill. It's called priorities.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. Uh, it's a good deal on the aluminum for somebody who's looking. I might be inclined to tell them where to get some, but yeah. Um,
To give you an exact problem that I had, as I said to you the other day, I picked up 2 pallets, 60 of the metal enclosures, brand new in the boxes, and I was like, I've got nowhere to put this. What do I do? Last thing that crossed my mind was what the wife was thinking.
hmm. So how's she enjoying her stay at her sister's house?
Who are you talking about?
You said if you got a good deal, she was,
He's gone. No.
yeah. Mm-mm-mm. Now, folks, when you see his wife appear in the background with one of these set enclosures and whacks him over the head with it, you'll know Ned was talking out of his.
There-
Anyway,
there's this saying that I've picked up from these YouTube short videos and things like that. It's when your wife disagrees with her, the only answer you have to tell her is you're starting to sound like my ex-wife.
Mm.
yeah. You've never been married before? That's my point. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-mm-mm. Well, you live dangerously, Milo. Or not Milo, excuse me, Ned.
Yeah.
It's the only way to live.
Let's not blame Milo on this one.
All right.
Yeah, I don't need any more.
Mm, 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 mm.
Yeah.
Well, uh, it's on my router table. I got a bunch of stuff piled up there because it's a large flat surface, and that's kind of rare in my shop.
always.
Yeah, so that's the project for the week, to make it a clear flat space.
Yeah, I'm planning to add on to my shop another 12 feet so I can
Make it 20, 24,
ah
48,
I I wish that would be on the other side. Right now I need it 12 feet.
60.
That would be nice. I could actually put probably like a um I want to say maybe like a 40 by 60 in my
It's not like you don't have a crane that you could lift these,
exactly.
walls up there.
You're right. No, but I want to bring my big laser back to the shop.
When your beloved wife comes in and yanks you off of this call, she says,
Yeah.
"You're not putting a 60-foot nothing in that." Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
it's large enough. I mean, she'll benefit from it.
yep, yeah. And she does use the laser.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I just want to get my big laser um back into the shop and try to retrofit it with some new motors and things like that, recharge the tube, get it back up and going. It's it's been going now for like 2 years, so but no room to put it.
Yeah. Are you going to put like a really thick pad on there so you can put your new Morbidelli in there?
Yeah. Yep.
Uh,
Yeah, it's gonna be
right next to the Owens rod.
yeah, it's gonna be really
Yeah.
I've actually been using my laser quite a fair bit just to make templates and things like that. It's so quick, so clean. Just to make templates before you actually cut it with a CNC or something like that. Like if I've got a bracket to cut with out of nylon or something like that, I'll do a template out in acrylic and just make sure that it fits. Things like that. Plates, spacers, washers.
Mhm.
Yeah, very handy, very, very handy. The other thing that you can have a play around with your laser is you can bend acrylic with your laser as well. You take it out of focus and just have it going backwards and forwards at a low power, and it heats the acrylic up, and it'll actually just bend right in front of you. So you prop up the part on some little stands, and you run your laser around, and the like you cut out the box shape, and then you where the joins are, you run your laser around it a few times, and the sides just fold down and form a box for you. Things like that. It's great.
Yeah, I got a big one. Mine is a 4x8 with a 50-watt tube.
Do bigger boxes.
Well, I used to do headstones with it.
Do what?
Headstones,
Hairstone.
Head,
memorial.
HEAD.
Oh, headstones. Okay, yep, gotcha.
Yeah, yeah. Did I talk last week about the fiber lasers that everybody had at the tool show?
Oh, I remember you telling me about
I
it.
don't remember. I wasn't hearing about it.
So at this tool show. It was an industrial machine tool show and everything for manufacturing. Every time I go there, every 2 years, something is the new hot thing, and all the vendors believe that they've got the only one until they get to the show, and
And they're everywhere.
yeah, they're everywhere. Well, this is just one of the many companies, but it was Theo. They had a handheld laser welder. Okay, and there were also companies that have a combination laser welder with a CNC bed. So you could uh, cut out like you would with a plasma cutter with this laser cutter. Um, and it's pretty neat. There's I told you about another company there the other day, Kelly, that you weren't too happy about.
Oh, G Winky.
Yeah, Winky is about to come out with their version of this that is a laser cutter. It's a fiber laser cutter welder. It also has a CO2 laser tube built into it, and I believe a plasma can be hooked up. So it's all in one machine, like 6-in-1 kind of machine. You can, whatever you're feeling like cutting, you can do it on there. And they also had they showed him it cutting wood. He showed it cutting steel, showed it cutting acrylic, whatever, all in one machine. Looks like it's going to be about 11 grand or
That's
so
not bad. Yeah,
when
that's
it
not.
comes out, and it's a big machine. It's like maybe a 4x4 size, something like that. But anyway, you see these in the YouTube videos all the time where these guys are, um, 1 minute they're doing a weld joint, the next minute they're
Mhm.
scanning it over a rusty piece of metal and it's burning away the rust, and then a few minutes later they're cutting with it. So this laser um, welder cutter, cleaner machine, that's the thing. Those were ending up being around $4,000 to $6,000 just for that unit without the CNC part of it, and there were a
Yeah, I'd
million of
seen
them.
one where they were lasering off finish
Yeah.
off a raised panel door.
Yep, it'll do that. Yeah.
Have
So
you?
have I seen it, or have I seen him
No,
use
no,
it?
no, no. I was about to say, have you actually seen the arm ones where you can just move the arm where you want it, the path that you want it to follow, hit go, and then it'll just sit there and repeat. And yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
the prices are going down. Like you can get a six axis robot right now for about 4 grand,
Hmm. Um,
and it
I
does that.
I was impressed with what they did. Um, it's like a wire welder. It's like a TIG welder, they said. Um, but what's different about the nozzle or the gun, if you will, is that it has a program pattern that it follows, and so it's actually kind of pushing your hand um, as you're welding. So all you're doing is you have to pull in a steady motion, and it lays down the bead. And the weld was amazing,
Mm,
very clean. You didn't have to go through with a hammer afterwards, and everything. The penetration looked good, but I don't know. It probably wouldn't do very thick metal, but
yeah,
yeah,
I mean, if they can do, shoot, if they can do 3/16, that would be good. I
yeah,
mean,
I'm
I
pretty sure it could.
I welded up a 12 mil plate the other day. I haven't welded for quite a while, and I've welded using a stick using stick welding. Welded up a 12 mil baffle plate for a fireplace that cracked up. Beautiful welds. The only problem was they were sort of like doing S's. Uh,
So they have a couple of different sizes of this welder. in the catalog I'm looking at. Carbon steel, it would do 8.5 millimeter or 0.335 inches. And on their top of the line one, and it would do a 1/4 inch on the lower size one. So it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Stainless, same size. Aluminum will do a 1/4 inch basically, and almost 1/4 inch in both of them. Galvanized steel 1/4 inch and 0.335 again, 8.5 millimeter. So
That's pretty decent.
yeah.
I mean, that's pretty. But my dad, my dad wills, and I was talking to him about that because I was thinking about like investing in one because my dad's he's
Mhm.
all the technology, but so we have probably about 4 different welding machines.
Yeah.
But let me see, maybe about 5 years ago, um, I bought him a digital welder machine, and it was different, especially with my dad.
Mhm.
Everything was analog. So when you striking your weld and everything, you have to have the right distance. So Harbor Freight came out with their new one, which was the Omni welder at the
Mhm.
time. And during this time, I was like building commercial signs and stuff like that, doing the aluminum, and it was the all in one. It was a stick, MIG, it did TIG also,
Mhm.
um, but it wouldn't do what was it? It wouldn't do aluminum TIG, I believe,
Mhm.
stainless, but it wouldn't do aluminum TIG. But the big thing was it runs on dual voltage, so you can do 120 or you
Mhm.
can do 240.
40, yeah.
And so I bought this machine for my dad. I want to say it was for his I want to say it was his 80th birthday. And
Mhm.
I had it in the garage all set up and everything. And I called him over. And I said, "Hey, come over, Dad. Can you help me with this?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure." He come over. He walks in the garage. He looks. He ain't say anything. He just kind of look at it. And he look again. He's like, "What you bought you a welding machine?" I was like, "Yeah, I thought I needed me another welding machine." You know, like that. He was looking at it. He was like, "Oh, this is kind of fancy there." It's like, "Wait, it's digital?" I said, "Yeah, digital and everything." So we started playing with it. You know, he was like,
Mhm.
"Oh, that's something I have to get used to." And I said, "Well, you're gonna have plenty of time to get used to it, Dad. That's yours." He was like,
Mhm.
"Oh my God," And so he was trying to do the settings, and it has this like the tick timer on there where when you start the wheel, it'll time maybe like 5 milliseconds or whatever just to start that arc, and he wasn't used to that.
Mhm.
Man, once he got used to it, oh, that's like all let me I'm gonna pull my welder out, and you know, and he just loves it. So
Yeah.
I knew right then when they came out with that, the technology of welding was just gonna really expand.
Mhm.
And like you say, I like the one now that you can the laser welding. And I'm just waiting for the price to come down because I would
Yeah.
like to
Yeah.
purchase one.
Well, most of these are 220 or 240 volted, uh, nitrogen and argon.
Okay.
So, TIG welding, uh, they they can do it. So kind of interesting. I'm guessing because amateur welders looked good making welds at the show.
Yeah.
I don't think it was a plant, hey,
Right. Yeah.
Joey Welder, come over here and pretend that you've never welded before. Because they had the display open to anybody who wanted to try it.
Right.
I'm just kicking myself because I didn't get in the booth, but looked fun. Looked fun
Yeah.
actually.
Well, like it's good because even when I worked at a sign shop, you had guys in there that couldn't weld, so we were doing aluminum frames,
Mhm.
and even with a MIG welder, you know, a MIG welder will fool you. You think that a person can weld when they use a MIG welder, and then you put
Yeah.
them on a stick, and it's just totally different, you know. So, but the problem with that, like everybody couldn't just outright just set up the welding machine and just, MIG weld. And with this, that I mean, now you talking about production. So, you can bring anybody and teach them to put together any type of frame or something like that out of aluminum or mild steel and build something and it's ready to go out the door without,
Hmm.
really
Yeah.
ridicule.
Yeah. And it did stainless too. They had one that was set up with a rotary chuck,
Oh,
and
I bet that was
also,
nice.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it was cutting tubing for like bike frames and things too. It was kind
Oh,
of neat.
nice.
Yeah. Um, have we talked at all about CNC routers tonight?
Uh,
I think we mentioned it in passing. That's about it.
Yeah, yeah. It's unfortunate. Um, but if you wanted to hear about rocket launches, welders, SolidWorks, the EAA today, we got you covered.
fourth axis motors and
Yep,
automatic drive.
yep. Grinding router bits. Yeah, there we
3D
go.
printing.
Got 3D print. Well, that's technically CNC is G
Yeah.
code. Yeah.
Yep. Something for everyone here.
Yeah. Nice.
All right, fellas, it's 9 o'clock. Who wants to take it home for us? Somebody's got to have something they've been dying to say. Oh,
Uh
we did talk about a teardrop trailer too, which
oh,
was CNC.
Oh,
Yes,
there
we
you
did.
go.
who talked
Yeah,
about this, bro?
yeah. Kurt's got his trailer almost done.
Oh, he did. Okay. Did you post?
Yep, the power's on, the hatch has been fitted. I'm gonna, probably this weekend, if it stops raining, I'm probably gonna put the final fiberglass coat on it.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna spend the night in it for a few nights and practice.
Nice. Nice.
And then the UP of Michigan has got wild bears and moose walking around up there, and I'm gonna go up there and camp.
In the Upper Peninsula. Okay.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Hmm.
they got pictures of mountain lions up there now and moose. It's a place called Tequamanon Falls. It's a Tequamanon River flows into Lake Superior, and it's wild up there. And there's what, maybe 500 people per 10 square miles. I mean, there's nobody up there.
Hmm.
Just as long as I don't,
Gonna
I
be
hope I don't
fun.
get ate by a bear. That's my only worry.
Well, your odds have increased when you go up where the bears are, but just saying, just be careful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, fellas. I guess that's it for tonight. Thank you for joining us. I know you didn't intend to watch a SpaceX extravaganza, but here we were. If you would like to join us for this mayhem next week, Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, there'll be a link in the group. Thanks, everyone.
All right. Later.
See you later, guys.
But